Hi, I'm Drew, a drag queen living in LA with my husband Curtis, my dog JB, and 80-degree heat, yet 10% humidity. Life is good.
That's rude. I'm Grant. I live in Florida. 110% humidity. Humidity? You
Well,
bet.
it does make you humid.
Former
Milk.
pastor, current nothing. I'm just what I used to be. And I've got 4 kids and my wife here. And I record a podcast with my brother until he loses interest in it, which is coming pretty soon. But this
Or
week,
has it already occurred?
Stop singing during my part. We rehearsed
Go
this.
ahead.
We are discussing Chicago. We went to Chicago. The boys did Chicago, and we talk about it.
Boys are back in Chicago. And then I tell Grant about the
Pretty
Tonys
good.
and why gay people watch them.
They watch it a lot. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You're welcome.
enjoy this episode. Ally, June.
Hi. I'm Drew, and I'm Nick.
What
I can't
What
remember
happened?
my name. It's Pride Month, okay? Pride Month makes gay people tired.
Well, I am energized because I'm Grant, and
Because you're
I'm
straight as fuck.
I'm so straight.
Ooh.
I hate the environment. I'm proud to be here with you, brother. I'm proud.
Happy Pride.
Pride.
Happy Pride.
Hey,
And I'm proud to
since-
be a homosexual, where at least I know I can pee in my mouth if I'm gay. I can do
Remix.
whatever I want.
Remix. Drew, I know that you don't target. We don't target. No one targets.
Yeah, no one targets DEI.
But do we know if Target is trying to profit off of the gays?
Grant, we do know that, actually, for a fact. And you you should know that I know that already. How would you
Why?
know that, Grant? How would you know that?
I don't
You're
know.
a big fan of your brother. You support me in everything I do. And you love It or Leave It. It's one of your favorite podcasts. And I was
do?
on it. And there was a huge
I haven't-
segment.
I haven't watched it yet.
There was a huge segment where we
You're
reviewed
right.
Target's Pride merch.
You're right. I haven't watched it yet. I
Oh, Grant.
really.
You know, that's how people get invited
really-
back to the show, is how many people listen. Wow, Grant. Now I'm never going to see John Lovett again.
I downloaded
Wow.
the show and I was going to watch it on the plane and I fell asleep. So
Well, I talk about you like twice.
I do
luck.
love to hear my name. So I will absolutely.
I don't know that I said your name
watch
to
it.
be fair. I want you to just like set your expectations low.
Okay, so you
But
just said my
I do
brother.
refer to you as my twin brother, in fact.
That could be anybody. That name could be
could.
any name.
I did talk about Twinnuendo, and I can't remember if it made it into the final cut or not. Because technically, I think it was during the commercial break that he asked me about
you waited until he went to the bathroom, and you're
Yeah,
like,
I
"Hey,
waited
is
till he was
anyone
off
recording
stage.
this?"
I was like, can someone just, I have a podcast too. No, I just felt like a piece of shit being like, by the way, I also have a podcast.
But you're
Um,
on there because of your podcast. I don't think it's weird
Right.
to be like, I've got another one.
Right.
And he
Right.
loves you.
Well, he had already talked about IMHO, the podcast, and so I felt like, why bring out my brother? You
yeah.
know, like why
Yeah.
muddy the waters?
And Alexis
We've already muddied
hates
so
it.
much. Yes, Target is doing Pride again. I don't know if they're going to be in stores this year, but I know that it's internet. There are lesbian, you know, little birds that you collect. There's little lesbian birds with a U-Haul
That I collect, or in general,
that
the
people
royal we.
can collect. The royal we, of course.
Okay. I mean, I'd like
Um,
to start collecting birds now. I didn't know that was a thing, but I need hobbies.
They're really
I don't pray
cute.
anymore. That took up a
I
lot
don't-
of my time.
That took up a lot of your bird collecting time.
A
and I understand
lot
that,
of my
and I get
bird
that,
collecting
and most
time.
people would understand that if they had a
Yeah.
heart.
Thank you.
But I have seen it. I unfortunately will not be purchasing. I don't know that I've ever purchased anything gay from Target. I mean, besides my regular gay stuff.
I don't know if we have either. I purchased gay stuff from Walmart last year.
I know, and I appreciated that. It made me feel very gay.
The kids were so excited
Well,
to use that cup.
rainbow and gay. Come on. Those
Well, it
are
wasn't. Well, we did get a little rainbow hat for the dogs, but it was the I Love Gay People mug that we got. Angela and all the kids wanted to use it. They were very excited because they were like, our uncle gay. And then I was like, there's someone else in your family who's gay. And then they went, oh, Uncle Drew's roommate. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
right.
My
His
roommate.
roommate.
My roommate.
They're not, we don't talk about anything else. That's a roommate. So
Well, we just do roommate stuff. We live together. We eat together. We eat cum.
God, It's June. I'm going to be happy about it.
It's June. June. Did you see after I told you about that? RuPaul made a TikTok doing it.
Oh, no.
RuPaul,
I mean,
okay,
yes, ally.
Let me tell you, in this incredible month of Pride, RuPaul has continued her journey into senility. And she loves to make little TikTok skits that really, when you watch it, Grant, it does feel like you're watching your grandmother make a TikTok. So it's nostalgic and kind of cute for that reason.
Dead.
But I think she's in like a red clown wig, and she's in a parking lot, and she's just doing that Leslie Uggams. It's June. I got tagged in it so many times. And they were like, send this to your brother. And I was like, no, because it's Pride Month. I'm already asking him to do a lot by just being supportive emotionally.
It's hard. It's taken a lot out of me.
I really didn't want to have to put the RuPaul of it all. I didn't want you put you through that. You know,
I don't know what I would have done with all that. Drew,
Grant.
Last week we didn't release a regular episode.
Yeah, and whose fault was that?
I would say that we had twin hubris, if you will. We truly believed that we were going to land in our respective cities and have physical energy to record a podcast.
I think we both knew we were lying, but I think we both felt so excited about how successful the weekend was that it was like, I can do anything. Turns out can't and won't. No. I did actually, on that note, on the IMHO. Oh, my camera just turned. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Oh my God. I'm back. Sorry. I don't know why my camera turned all of a sudden.
Let's pray.
That's going to be a bitch to edit. Sorry, Grant. Anyway, Alexis and I met this morning, and we have decided we are going to continue on with a mini tour in the fall.
That's awesome.
We are going, well, I'm not going to announce yet until we book places. Even though we're not ready to give out details, I do want to publicly, on record,
going to Dillsburg,
invite you to be our opening act again. For all of the shows you are available for. I know that you've got a busy schedule of well, you'll figure it out.
I would like to formally and in front of everyone.
A hard out at 10 minutes. Hard out.
Well, I would like to formally say in front of everyone that I will think about it.
Okay.
So,
Grant, listen.
Thanks.
I'll pay you in flight. I'll pay you in occasional meal. Like, come on, man. Or fuck it, I'll pay me and I'll just pretend to be you. I can do that.
You wish you could do it right now. Do me right now.
Oh my God, I could.
Just do it. All right, you're coming out and you're gonna. Hey, I'm Grant. I used to be a pastor. Go.
Hey guys. I'm Grant. Drew's such a faggot. I hate that guy.
Didn't say that word. I implied
so gay.
Never said it.
I bet he has sex all the time with men.
You know, your camera messing up is gonna be easier to edit around than that. That's gonna take me hours to edit around.
At time of filming, we got back a week ago today. I am
from
just
Chicago.
Now
Sorry, we're talking about IMHO Live, the show.
Live
I don't think
Chicago.
we ever said it.
Sorry.
But yeah, go ahead.
I think they're used to it by now.
Nah, they'll figure it out.
So we have been back for a week as of today.
Mm-hmm.
Today is probably the first day I have felt not tired, like not drained complete. I mean, I'm tired. I'm awake, But Grant, I slept 16 hours the first day, 12 hours the next, and then I kind of slept through most of the next few days. I don't know. It's all a blur. IMHO Live was a lot. And Grant, I have to say publicly, thank you for all your help.
What was that?
I already said it.
I'll play it back over and over again. I will edit that with joy.
Thank you for all your help. Thank you for all your help. Grant, thank you for all your help. Grant, thank you for all your help.
It was a really great time. And one of the things that Drew asked me to do for the show when I got to town, so I appreciate the heads up, was to put together the pre-roll ads.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Grant, how much did you have to do? You could have done that.
What?
I did everything else. I'm just saying it was nice that someone was available to help me for once. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
and don't read into this, kids. I'm not shitting on Alexis behind her back. I shit on her face this morning. Okay.
And she watches this. She watches every episode. She loves it. She's our
loves
number
this
one
show.
fan.
Yeah, it's
Number
actually
one
the
fan.
only notification she has turned on her phone.
I was putting all of them together, and to give Drew credit, he asked me to put all these ads together, and some of them were just IMHO based, which of course I knew exactly what to do with because huge fan, and Paola helped. I came up with a couple, but Drew came up with my, I think this was 100% yours. Correct me if I'm wrong. Drew came up with my favorite ad. And I wish I had been in the room. Unfortunately, we were backstage when it came on the screen, so I don't know the response. But God, I hope it was good. Which was the Chick-fil-A ad.
Oh.
And it's my favorite one that we put up.
What did I say?
I can't say it, but you can say it. It just had the Chick-fil-A logo, and it had workers. I had like all these workers standing there smiling. And then it just said, "Hey,
faggots,
we're still here."
Hey, faggots, we're still here. Chick-fil-A.
That made
me laugh.
Funny.
Can I say, though, the one that really got me, I think it got me because it was so unexpected, was, so I asked Paola to make a bunch. I was like, Paola, can you come up with some like ad ideas? Because my brain is done. I'm not doing any more work. And so she put together a list, and I just sent that to Grant, and I gave him Alexis. And I was like, hey, that girl that's just farting on the couch, if you need anything, like she can help you decipher what these mean. And she did. But then when Grant finally played it for me, he had added his own. And one of them was the sidetrack logo, but instead of saying sidetrack, it said bar redacted.
Yeah.
And it just said, try our slushies. That was it. It just said bar redacted in the sidetrack logo, try our slushies. I don't know, man. There's something I think being back in Chicago, that joke really got me. It made me laugh. It was so good, Grant. Try our slushies. Nothing even acknowledging like any sort of upset past. Just we have
people
slushies.
Know.
Want you to know we've got slushies.
Yeah,
and they do.
Yeah, I really liked them. I've got all of them. Maybe at the end of this, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll just throw them at the end or something, and people can see the ads. They can play through the ads. I was gonna ask, was this the first time since leaving Chicago when you moved to LA to come back and do any type of performance?
No.
Was this your first time? Okay, you've been back to Chicago multiple times performing.
Yeah, I would say like the only time we've done like a show was last year at Pride. Dairy Queen brought us back for her show at the Annoyance Theater. I think we each did like a number. I can't remember. Dairy Queen is genuinely one of the funniest drag queens in the world. She's huge on TikTok for some reason.
Dairy Queen.
And her latest viral video is her in drag doing, "We'll be married in a year in the summer." She does that in drag. And it is so funny.
That guy, he leaned into it. It leaned into
Brandon
the joke.
Abernathy.
Okay.
And he did?
He did. He leaned into
Alexis says he has a good sense of humor about it. I hope that's true.
And it was like funny, but then I don't know. I just think at that point everyone went, "Oh, that's good for you," and then it kept popping up, and everybody was like, "All right, okay,
yeah."
We're done.
Listen, I love him.
We all do, of course. He's a patron.
Well, I'm a defender. I'm a Brandon Abernathy apologist.
And I'm a Brandon Abernathy denier. I don't think he's real. I don't think he exists.
Okay, I got to be honest
Stanley
with you.
Kubrick.
That also makes sense to me. That also actually feels right. That
he's an actor.
He's not real.
He's a paid
But Alexis
agitator.
did reach out and asked if he'd be on the podcast. Because I want to know, I want to hear from him. I want to hear his side. I want to know, like, what does that feel like when you're just kind of doing what you always do? That's what I'm going to ask him.
I think it would go great. That's a great interview. Yeah. Chicago was amazing. The Den Theater was so nice.
Weren't they so nice?
Oh, the whole staff was fantastic. They were so nice.
Incredibly nice. We were there forever after the show, and I just kept apologizing, and they're like, "That's why we're here." Nope, that's why we're here.
I was wondering of the performance piece. Of the performance piece, what do you not know how to use that? Your expensive Best Buy camera?
Yeah.
You got it. I think you're turning it on and off. Oh, no, you got it. Perfect.
So
for our audio listeners, that was a Polaroid.
Our Chicago crowd, that was our first time doing Polaroid camera. And I realized, I've heard from you. I heard that they're not exactly bright. They're pretty dark, actually. So
And people
in the
paid for them.
fall,
That's the best
we
part.
are on our little tour. Chicago will be on that tour. When we come back, if you bought one from us, we will give you another one for free if you just bring us the dark ass Polaroid. You can keep both. Just show us that you bought one of these.
There was a woman who came back up, and she goes, "I think there's something wrong with mine." And I go, I was like, "Oh yeah, I can't see that at all." And then I showed it to the very, very wonderful, nice, beautiful friend of ours who took the pictures, and they looked at it and they go, "It's just a Polaroid. It'll clear up." And I just go, "Yeah, it's just a Polaroid. It'll clear up." Now that I'm hearing you say that, no, it isn't, and no, it didn't.
Yeah.
So to that woman that we gaslit the fuck out of,
we gaslit you, bitch.
So sorry.
We gaslit you, bitch. But
now
we'll be
you have a
back in the
story.
fall, and you can come and get another one, but like with lights this time.
Maybe.
Listen, we were
See how it
figuring a
goes.
lot out. We were figuring a lot out.
What was one of your highlights of the show, of doing the live show? Do you have a highlight or a low light? I'll take either. I was just trying to keep it positive.
Always meeting people and talking to people is like my favorite thing in the world.
Sure. Yeah.
Everyone is so kind and so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I genuinely love hearing people's stories. I genuinely love, even if like, because, okay, I know that I was going to say I'm not always. I'm never cool when I meet someone that I look up to. I'm just not. I can go in with a plan. I can be laid back. I can be chill. But the minute I see them, I may remain chill appearing, but I'm going to say the craziest thing that comes to my mind immediately.
Can I tell you, sorry to interrupt, but can I tell you, yesterday was Father's Day, and we were...
Oh, happy Father's Day. Forgot about that.
Thank you. We were going to go down to Disney Springs because they were playing Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, my favorite movie of all time. They were playing it for Father's Day. But then I was like, that would cost a lot of money to take my kids to the movies. So we didn't do it. And I saw on TikTok, you know who was walking around with his wife? They were just hanging out. They bowled at Splitsville. They ate at a restaurant down there. They didn't have like a escort with them or a guide with them. And there was like no crowd around him. He was just kind of blending in. Fucking Christian Bale. Batman. The Dark Knight. I absolutely do. And I told Angela that, and I was like, God, we could have been there and I could have met him. And then I started to get so nauseous at the thought of actually seeing him and feeling that nervous pressure of, I don't want to miss my opportunity. This is the only chance I'll ever get to say hello to Christian Bale.
I'm not throwing away my shot.
I don't want to bother him either. And then what would I say? And then, oh God, what if I bother him? Then I'll feel like shit the rest of my life, and I'll never be able to watch The Dark Knight again because I'm the Joker now. I got so anxious that I went, oh, thank God we didn't go yesterday. Like, I'm so glad I didn't go. I'm glad to know he was near me. He was 30 minutes away. And I'm so glad that I wasn't there because I would have felt so much pressure to bother him.
Wait, what movie were you going to see? Indiana Jones?
In The Last Crusade. Yeah, they were playing it for Father's Day.
Why'd you bring up Christian Bale? He's not in that.
He was at Disney Springs, physically, walking around with his wife.
What an interesting...
You're a good listener, and that's what I love about you.
You know, the night of IMHO Live, Curtis served Harrison Ford.
I know. That's pretty awesome. He said
he was so fucking nice, and he was so genuinely like...
That makes sense.
He asked him questions about him, and then when he left his wallet at the table, he went and he's like, I had to open Harrison Ford's wallet to
Magnum condoms, giant, custom-made, custom-made condoms.
His load is so full of baby. Okay,
and when he handed it to Harrison Ford,
it didn't even have to go inside you to make a baby.
It'll walk inside you. He hands it to Harrison Ford, and he goes,
"Thank you."
He goes, "Did you open it?" And he goes, "Well, I had to see who it was." And he goes, "Yeah, you did." That was it.
Well, he opened it to see whose wallet it was, and obviously he looked at the ID, and it was Harrison Ford. But the thing that was so funny is Curtis was like, I don't think he has a real address. Because...
1 Harrison Ford Avenue, Mars.
It was sort of, like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was sort of like 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street. I'm not kidding.
I bet that's true because if they lose their license, then they'll have to move.
Well, no, I mean, at this point, you can find where any celebrity lives. I don't think it's like that big of a secret. But maybe that's something like the old studio, okay? The studio system of the 80s.
I'm a little torn about him giving it back to him because if you ask me, that wallet belongs in a museum.
Harrison Ford's wallet that he left at a steak
That's what
restaurant.
Indiana Jones says. He, like, whenever they're trying to give stuff back, they're like, that belongs to me. And then he's like, it belongs in a museum.
Did I take you to the Academy Museum yet? Have you been at the Academy Museum yet?
Drew, it was one of my favorite things I've ever done in my life.
Oh, yeah. Because they have the Indiana Jones part. Yeah, it's cool.
The sound part, yeah. But no, I loved everything about it.
I love the Academy Museum.
The Godfather stuff, like going through, like seeing his office set up. And
cared less about that, but
the John
I'm really
Waters
excited that
King of Filth was fantastic.
My new psychiatrist, my O'Mary buddy, my new psychiatrist, their office is next door to the Academy Museum, so I have to go when I'm down there.
So you remember there was like a mug there, like the travel mug, the like tea mug thing, the Academy. And, And I kept saying, I want it, but I don't want to spend that much. And I've thought about it every day since, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've had those.
So I do need to get that.
If they still have it, I'll get you one.
Sorry, you were saying about meeting celebrities.
If I know I might possibly see someone, like for the queer teas, for instance. I know the gay celebrities that I'll probably see. So there are some that I'm like, I would love to talk to them if I see them, but like if not, no big deal. And I'll think in my head the most insane thing to say to that person. And then I'll be like, just make sure you don't say that.
Don't say this. Yeah.
It's what I do. And
what'd you say to John Waters?
Honestly, I wanted to tell him to shut up, but I didn't.
True.
No, he was just ruining my moment with Tony Award-winning Cola Scola.
That's true.
Let me have my moment. I can't explain an inside joke to you right now, John Waters. Like, move along. Move this on. A big one is when we won our queer tea. Not when we lost it.
Most recently.
When we lost it. But when we won, we were fresh off the plane at LAX. Like we'd only been in the city for like a month. This felt like a coming out.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're going to meet a bunch of Drag Race and World of Wonder people. So like whatever you do, just stay very positive about the franchise. There's something World of Wonder hates more than any other production company, and that's someone talking negatively about their product. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. It's a bunch of faggots, but just like, calm down. Let people hate your stuff. That's part of the fun. But I was thinking like, okay, if we win, Alexis and I came up with the idea of just talking over one another. And she's like, I'm going to actually thank people. And I was like, great. I'm just going to tell stories. Like, I'm going to be the one that doesn't actually thank anyone.
Love it.
And like in my head, I kept saying, whatever you do, don't talk shit about Drag Race. This is your coming out party. So in my head, that's the only thing I'm thinking not to talk about. Well, how do you think I ended the speech? And not just ended the speech, but ended it like Alexis had already stopped talking. So I just silently, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. It honestly, the statement didn't even make sense because I panicked as I started to say it. And I was like, wait, that's the one thing you weren't supposed to say. And then I was like, blah, 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 blah. But so I get how, like, if you're meeting someone that you look up to, you word vomit onto them. And I live for it. I love it. I love the people who come up to me and they're like, oh my God, can I tell you about my cab on the way here? It was fucking crazy. And I'm like, please tell me about your cab.
Yeah.
You know, I love that shit. And definitely meeting the twinks with their moms. Like the little gay guys who brought their moms. Their moms, I'm closer in age to.
Yeah.
That was so sweet and so affirming. And I know it sounds dumb, but I think as an older gay person, whenever I see like a young twink, like a 19, 18-year-old kid, I immediately worry.
That they're not going to be attracted to you?
Yeah, that's my number one worry
you're
sure.
Like, oh, I want that twink so bad.
I want that twink. My first thought is always, God, I hope they don't have the life I had. Like, I hope it's so much easier for them. Meeting a twink with a mom, and the mom is at the gay show being very supportive, it feels like the relief I feel. You know, like I'm like, okay, good. That kid's okay. That twink's okay. He'll be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something really beautiful about that.
Can I bring it down?
Yeah.
Well, let me say something positive about what you said, then let me bring it down.
Bring me down.
There was a mother-son duo that after they left your meet and greet, she came up to me and was so nice about Twinnuendo. She came out of an evangelical background.
Oh, yeah.
She just kept talking about how much we meant to her, and it was very, very sweet. And I'm like you, I would stand there all night and listen to people's stories. And so she said, I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Tell me about it. And she goes, oh, I don't want to bother you. I can't even believe you're talking to me. I don't want to bother you. And I was like, no one's talking to me.
You?
I was like,
no one's looking for Grant.
I'm literally standing over. No one's talking to me. We can talk all. In fact, I would love it if we could talk. I need friends. And I found that.
Friends.
I found that. Thank you. I found that multiple times. It's June. You can say whatever you want. You can take me down a peg.
It's June.
Oh, but wait till next month, buddy. Yeah, it was really nice. So, Drew, on that note of you see them and you go, they're going to be good. They're not going to have the childhood I had or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was just in Memphis. While I was there, I spent time with friends and saw people I haven't seen in a long time. And as
all your muscle buddies, all your old muscle men,
muscle buddies. And so while I was with my strong men, I was driving back through where we used to live, through Germantown. It had changed quite a bit. A lot of development, a lot of new homes, a lot of new shopping, a lot of whatever. I went, you know what? I am just a couple minutes from our old neighborhood. I haven't been to it since the bank took our house away. 14 years, 15 years.
We were in college.
No, Max took his first steps in that house.
Oh, because I was in Louisville at the time. That was 2007.
Max was born in 2010.
Oh.
So this would have been 2011.
Okay, sure. I was close.
It was very close. I hadn't been back there since then, since we moved mom and dad out of there. So I went by and I remember I pulled in our old neighborhood. We used to live in a very wealthy little suburb. And we used to always say we lived in the old part. Well, so we always said we lived in the old part, like the old Germantown. And so we could afford to be there. But it got really expensive the deeper you got in, and the houses got newer. Yeah. And
we were in the cheap seats for sure.
And then it went into this other suburb in Collierville, and like the NBA players, Memphis Grizzlies live there. Like it's a very wealthy area.
That's your barometer? The Memphis Grizzlies
NBA players.
There?
Yeah, dude, they live in giant homes. I know you don't watch a lot of the basketball, but they make a lot of money.
It's not my fault. It's not entertaining.
It's not the Tonys, but it's pretty good. I went. Into
that was my other favorite moment of the night. Is that I got to announce on stage that Cola Scola had won a Tony.
People flipped out.
I flipped out. I was jumping up and down.
I know, a little shit came out. I don't know if anyone noticed on the front row, but a little bit. More Imodium, brother.
Shit came out.
More Imodium
Tony.
next time. Our neighborhood looks like shit. It's really falling apart.
It looked like shit when we lived there, to be fair.
You remember Mom and Dad got really mad about people putting in fences? Because for years, no one had fences. Yeah. Can I say that now I agree with them? Because now all the fences are old and run down and falling apart and dilapidated. And I was like...
and it looks so bad.
Oh, that's why they didn't want them. It looks so bad. I was like looking at all the houses and I was like, the crazy lady lived there and so lived there. Then
crazy lady and so.
I pulled up to our old house. Oh, fuck, I did it again. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's like an emotional crescendo to the story, but go ahead and do that again.
I'm just trying. I've got to get the drag room back together, and so while I'm sitting here, I'm just like slowly putting things back.
Yeah, you should do that.
Productive.
Yeah, we're not doing anything important. I pulled up in front of our old house and I stopped for a second and was just like looking at it. And they've made a lot of changes to it. But I was like, that was Drew and I shared that bedroom. And then he moved into that room and that window was Amanda's room. And as I was sitting there.
Beautiful moment.
Well, as I was sitting there, I just sobbed.
What?
Jizz sobbed. I was like, Drew, I'm telling you, in the moment, I had no idea. I was sitting there and I just started crying and I didn't know what was going on. I'm sure I looked bananas crazy, but it doesn't matter. All the poor people in the neighborhood, they don't care, right?
Yeah, you dumb poor people.
Dumb poor people.
We couldn't even afford to keep that house. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it, you stupid poor people. It just hit me really, really hard. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And, the more I think about it, it was just really sad because at the end of the day, like our family fell apart, and when I think back to my childhood, I had such a different experience than you did. And I know that you have. I know.
Really?
I know that you have.
That sounds like a good podcast. Go ahead. Sorry.
I know that you have good memories. And I know that you have good memories with mom and dad, and we have good memories in that home and in that neighborhood. When I look back, there was so much about what you were going through that was completely off my radar. I had no idea. And so now when I look at that house, I look at it through that lens and I go, oh, horrible, awful things happened in there. And then when I think about losing that house and how sad it was, from there on, and obviously that wasn't the reason, but from there on, I can just see our family fall apart, you know, and I see I see the rift that really started to separate more and more between you and our parents. And then there was not just you and our parents, but you and all of us. And I'm not saying it was a bad thing, like that you did anything wrong. I don't think you did. But then we didn't have the relationship that I thought we would have. And then my relationship with dad became incredibly strained. And he's not the grandfather that I thought he would be to my kids, that he started out being to my kids and isn't now. You know, we're not close to Amanda and it's just, I don't know, just the idea, what I thought would happen with our family, the next evolution of our family, I thought would be something healthy, but it wasn't coming from a healthy place. So it couldn't be. You know, I mean, you can't get healthy fruit from an unhealthy tree. It wasn't ever going to be that. And so I guess it was
such a pastor thing to say.
Well, Jesus said it. I think it's one of those things of just seeing it and seeing the house and being like, that was one of the last places I remember our family really being together. And even then, there were toxic things happening under the surface. Yeah. And I don't know, it was a symbol of all of that. Like that house that no longer was ours, that was taken from us. And this neighborhood that held all these memories. As I drove around, I was looking at all these houses and remembering this person was here and this happened here and this pastor down the street, his son here, and this happened here.
That was so sad.
It is really sad.
We've already talked about it on this show, unfortunately.
But then like seeing the neighborhood kind of run down and none of those people are there anymore. And I don't know, it's just kind of a physical representation of it's all gone. Family. And even when it was there, it wasn't what I thought it was. And I don't know.
When we were here,
fucking
we weren't
sad.
Family. Yeah.
There you go. Enjoy that.
I guess I mean, well, I guess never say never. If Justin Bieber taught us anything, never say never. I do think that
cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I do think I wouldn't have a reaction upon seeing the home again, just because I've been so separated from everything for so long. But who knows? I might. It really hasn't been until I started like unpacking all of this shit in therapy. Like if I wasn't forced to have to deal with all of the scars, I don't know that I would have realized that our childhood was so fucked up until I would say in the last like 10 years, maybe not even that long, is when I've really started to look at the damage that was done in that home and how like unfair all of it actually is. Yeah, mom and dad are of two different generations because he's silent. He's older than Boomer and he's still alive.
He could be president.
Oh, he's still got a good 20 years left if he wants to be president. 81, you're just now hitting the sweet spot. They weren't ever like super emotional people, like as far as like they would sit us down and talk to us about feelings, but they were very like openly loving and very like openly, I'm proud of you. Wow. Like anytime we brought home a report card or anytime I was in a musical
you
or
brought
whatever,
home a report card.
Well, that's true. Can I tell y'all? I was always like, I never studied. I was always just really good at school. And I had the best grades. And Grant always had shitty grades. And I was like, ha ha ha, you fucking idiot. Then we go to take the ACT.
Oh, yeah.
And
Fuck
I'm like,
you, dude.
Grant's going to be so fucking stupid. He's going to get a 19. We got the same score. We both got like, what was it, 26? We got like, we both
27?
We both got a decent score, but we got the exact same score. And I was so upset. That's when my childhood fell apart. That's when our family fell apart for me. We were raised in this place of, yes, there's all the good. And I do have a lot of really great memories of our family. But then when you add on to the context of like the religion side and how that has continued to kind of warp how our family operates is yeah, that's really sad. You know, because
Yeah.
like if we didn't have this fucking religion thing hanging over us, that's the thing keeping me apart from my family. That's the thing keeping my mom from trying to understand me. That's my perception.
No,
And so
I absolutely think it is. Like, I think you're 100% right that that piece emboldens somebody to believe they're right, so much so that they won't listen to the people that they're supposed to love the most, because they've got the ultimate trump card. It's, well, God, but God, Jesus, God and Jesus. I thought about, for Father's Day, I was going to make a post that said, you know, being in the church for so long, I learned from the greatest father of all time. And so I'd like to say publicly that I've been really mad at 3 of my kids, but one of my kids was perfect. And I've decided that I was going to kill the other 3 because I was so angry with them.
don't do that. Someone
But
will
then,
call the
but then my youngest,
CPS.
who was perfect, he said,
I
kill me
crucified him.
instead. So because I love all of them so much, I decided someone's got to die. So it's the perfect one.
Isn't it crazy how they can
Bible.
take those insane stories and be like, well, it was a different time. It was different. But then now, like, if they want to make it match their modern understanding, they can be like, well, but he's talking about today. That's actually about today. Wait, why is that one about today? What the fuck?
At the live show, when I opened, one of the bits was just reading random scripture verses. And I had pulled out some of the worst things that the Bible says. There were things that I didn't feel comfortable reading on stage. It was the Bible. There was one that said, trigger warning, sexual assault trigger warning. This was the Bible verse. If a man rapes a woman who's unbetrothed, then he needs to pay her father 50 shekels and marry her. Thus saith the Lord. That was the law. Was that, as long as she's unbetrothed, then pay her father 50 shekels.
She's yours now.
And then, but you got to marry her. So that's kind of cool. That was like the law. That was God's perfect law.
But that can be something of like, well, that was a different time. You don't understand.
And I couldn't read it.
Different...
I couldn't read it on stage.
Yeah,
I thought
that was a different time. You don't understand.
Upsetting.
You don't understand. And then they'll gladly pull from the same fucking crazy chapter. They'll pull something else out and be like, but this applies to today. That obviously doesn't.
Well, a man shouldn't lie with a man, Drew. A man shouldn't lie with a man. Now, when it talks about don't eat shellfish or you shouldn't have clothing made of 2 different materials, that was different. We're not like that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
No.
But man lay with a man.
Gross.
That's the moral law. The other was ceremonial law. By the way, that's what theologians did. They made that up. They've said some of that is ceremonial law, which applied when we had a temple and you had to remain holy and different than everyone else around you. But these other things, like homosexuality, that's considered the moral law. That stands forever. Now, who made that distinction? We did. And how do you determine what's moral and what's ceremonial? We just do. We just tell you. We just know.
Yeah.
You know what it is. It's the gay stuff. God doesn't like the gay stuff. It grosses him out. Unless it's 2 ladies.
I don't know. I think gay stuff should be outlawed. I think gay should only be legal for the month of June, and it should be celebrated. And then we just pretend that it doesn't exist for like 11 months.
Drew, I could not disagree.
I've already done that.
I could not disagree more. I hate your take on that. Hey, Paula, clip that out. That's the clip. That's what you want to use for this one. Just use that and make me an ally. What are you doing? What is on your face?
It's pride. I can do whatever I want.
That's true. One of the things
Paula,
that happened...
clip that.
One of the things that happened while we were in Chicago was I noticed that while we were in the Airbnb, which was wonderful, we were in Wicker Park. Is that right? Wonderful.
I found this
Loved it.
Great place, y'all. It was at like basically North and Western. A little further east. It was great. It
was fantastic. While we were there, I noticed that you or Alexis or Michael, whoever was over there. Can we tell the Alexis airport story, or is that off limits?
She's already told it on IMHO, the podcast. Go for it.
Fantastic. Drew and Alexis are flying out about 10 minutes ahead of Angela and myself, and we're leaving from the same terminal. So we're sitting together, and they're sitting across from us. Drew, were you passing her something to plug in? Is that what it was?
Yeah, and she dropped it and had to bend down to grab it.
And when she bent down to grab it, she let out the meatiest, wettest fart. It was
so loud.
Wild. It was absolutely
so loud.
wild. But the
no
best,
one was more shocked than her.
That's the craziest part. I said, Alexis, you didn't feel it. There were no tremors. There was no. It was just
nothing.
I mean, it just blew out. She was she was on a call. She was playing Fortnite with her boyfriend, and she's on a call with them. This is the best part. She looks up. She's shocked. She looks at Drew. Drew is horrified. We all are. We're all like,
it was so loud, y'all.
And
we were in Southwest too, so like it's already people are farting.
So she looks at Drew, and then she just says to her boyfriend, "I have to go. I have to go." Like she doesn't know what to do, and then she goes, "I just farted really loud," and then hangs up.
She said, "I ripped my dress."
I thought she said she farted.
Mm-mm.
Oh, she said she ripped her dress. That's even better.
I think she was trying to create a distraction. She was like, "I ripped my dress. I gotta go." I was like,
it was all time. And there's nothing my wife loves more than farts and falling. Those are the two things, farts and falling. So her bending over and farting. So Angela couldn't recover. Alexis couldn't recover.
They both cried.
They couldn't look at each other until you guys left. They just, because she just burst out laughing. And then Alexis would burst out laughing. So it was wild.
And I was so tired, so I was mean.
Your face was so fucking funny. Alexis looked so scared. She looked at you like, I don't know what to do. It was so good.
She's been a very supportive friend and coworker as I've worked my way through this mental health valley I've been in. She's like, I know that this isn't you. Like, I know that this is your brain. So it's fine.
On drugs. Off drugs.
But that support, there is some fear in it for sure. Not that I'm gonna hurt her, but just that like I could make her really uncomfortable for the whole flight home, which I didn't.
I don't know, because she could crack ass at any time. I don't know why you're not more afraid.
She really could, and she did. I haven't told her this yet. She really thought that we couldn't hear her pooping in that Airbnb.
And we were making beats. We were making beats with it. I mean, I have it in GarageBand right now.
No idea. It was great. And she'd come out and I'd be like, nothing.
No,
nothing.
Soundproof. Absolutely soundproof.
It didn't sound like you had a trumpet in that bowl.
Dropping bombs in there. Drew, one of the things I noticed was you and Alexis and Michael, whoever was over hanging out, you always put on Broadway musical stuff. It was always show tunes. It was always Broadway performances.
Well, it's Pride Month. We have to.
Well, so can I, honestly, I didn't know what a dark Polaroid. I know. I didn't know how unbelievably important the Tonys were to the gay community.
Yeah.
At large.
Yeah.
I knew obviously that the majority of the people that were involved with that and the fans of that would probably be gay, but it seems like the ubiquity of the Tonys.
Well,
I mean, you made an announcement in a room full of people. Everybody lost their shit.
This year was different.
Like,
this year was very, very different.
Why?
I was telling so IMHO Live, unfortunately, was the same night as the Tonys. We didn't do that on purpose. We booked the theater long before the Tonys were announced. But it was the first time in a very long time that I wanted to watch the Tonys, like live. I wanted to be on it. I wanted to I wanted to be Twittering. I wanted to be texting. I wanted to be like, because
I wanted to be on True Social. You guys watching this?
Huge. Oh, I'm sure the Tonys were very popular over there. Mm-hmm. But the Best Actress race alone is historical. It's huge. It's humongous. Audra McDonald, Nicole Scherzinger, both Death Becomes Her ladies, and Betty Boop. Get the fuck out of here. It was one.
You be making up names right
for
now.
The record books. Well, you know Nicole Scherzinger, Pussycat Dolls. Don't you wish your girlfriend was, me? She won a Tony over Audra McDonald. That's all you need to know.
Crazy. It's just.
But then Then
know.
Cola Scola
Mm-hmm.
winning a Tony in the Best Actor category. That was fucking crazy.
So
That
first
Cole won a
non-binary
fucking
actor
Tony.
to win Best Actor?
I don't know.
So
Maybe.
I'm asking as if I didn't already look this up. Yes.
Is it? See? That's a big deal. It was just a
And
really big
Can you
year
explain
for
something
gays.
to me? Because I
could pretend to.
I looked up Cole's speech because I knew they were very important to you, and I also think they're super fucking funny. Shout out to T-Bone from Grindr. Is it just a reference to Grindr? Just like okay, there's no deeper meaning to that joke. It's just like, I was on Grindr. Just letting everybody know.
Well, and T-Bone's funny.
T-Bone is funny.
Shout out to T-Bone on
like
Grindr.
Seabass from Dumb and Dumber. Seabass has got these. Seabass said put these on his tab.
Seabass on Scruff. Seabass on Scruff.
What's Scruff?
It's Grindr for bears. Get it? Scruff Harry.
And it's only bears on there? Only bears allowed?
Bears and bear lovers of the kind.
Oh, so you could set up an account and be an otter, for example.
Yes. Or a chaser.
I don't know what an otter is. I just said it because somebody has said it before. What's an otter?
Yes,
Are we otters?
No.
What's an otter?
It's skinny, hairy people.
Oh, we're not hairy.
We're not hairy.
We're not hairy at all. Someone in Chicago looked at my arms and they went, "Oh, look, you got a little hair on there." And I was like, "Is this bully? Is this reverse? Is this for June? You got to be mean to a straight person?"
I shaved my arms that week, so I had nothing.
I don't shave my. You really have to shave your arms? I don't have anything naturally. I have so little hair on my body.
I mean, I had little arm hair, but when I started filming a lot, I would notice. Yeah, I would notice it, and it bothered me. But no, we don't. What bracelet are you wearing? What is that?
It's a pride bracelet. I don't remember the brand. I like it because it's got this metal slider, and it has a B on it. I don't remember the brand.
For what?
Whatever
Bussy?
the brand is. For Bussy.
For Bussy.
It's just a pride bracelet.
Happy Bride. Nice, Grant.
I did have a lady go, "What is that?" when I was in Memphis. And I go, "Oh, it's just a pride bracelet." And she goes, "Oh." And I go, "Oh, yeah, no, there's no one you love who's gay. You don't care about gay people." And she was
said
like,
that to her?
"Yeah." And
Where
she goes,
were you?
She goes, "I don't celebrate that." And I go, "Yeah, but you don't have to like hate people who do." I was in Walmart. I was like, my twin brother's gay. I'm supposed to hate him? The fuck?
And she said, "I hate your twin brother."
She didn't say anything at that point. She walked away because she knew I was going to fucking murder her. I got really mad. I got to be honest.
Christ, Grant.
I was pretty mad about it.
Grant, you're just now getting homophobia thrown at your face. Wait until it's been happening for about 20 years. And then
Oh, no.
I swear to God, you'll kill yourself.
No, I was getting mad like when I watch sports and someone misses a shot. It's like it burns really hot for like a second, but it doesn't really affect my life in any way.
No,
you know what I mean? I just turn it off.
As long as he hits that base in the goal and all, and it goes through.
She walked away, and I was like, whatever. I don't even remember what I was upset about. Back to Walmart. Not a big deal. So anyway, she's probably dead. But Drew, Tonys. The
Tony Awards were incredible this year because of all of the like dynamic. I mean, truly, all you need to do to make a Tony's exciting is to have a Best Actress race like that. Because one thing you must know, Grant, is most gay men, I'm talking about cis gay men, that's all I'm talking about, love a woman's voice. We love a diva. We love a woman singer. We love a woman performer. And this year's Best Actress race was full of incredible Broadway performances. It's like the year that Wicked went up against Avenue Q. Like it was gay and woman and diva. Okay?
All those things.
It was so good this year. And I've loved, my entire TikTok is just watching people react to Audra McDonald's performance, watching her do it live.
So she performed what?
She was Mama Rose in Gypsy. It's the first all-black cast of Gypsy.
Okay, so...
We just talked about this, Grant.
Not at the Kennedy Center, it wouldn't be. Got to get some whiteys in there.
It wasn't at the Kennedy Center.
I know, I'm just saying, if it was, it's under new management. It's not going there.
God, we're talking in hypotheticals.
They're not going to let that in there.
Happy Pride.
No, Drew, we did talk about Gypsy. You sang a song from Gypsy in the live show.
Into Your Face, yeah.
Into My Face. I'll never forget it. I want to. But I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what it's from. You said it's from Gypsy, and I went, okay, I don't know what that is.
Well, because you grew up in a house with a gay dad.
So
I just thought for sure.
I asked Dad about it
About what?
After the live show. I asked him about Gypsy. I said, hey, do you know the musical Gypsy?
You called Dad as soon as the live show was over to talk to him about
No,
Gypsy?
I drove back to Memphis.
You drove back to Memphis. Yeah, I forgot.
Mi madre. The day after I landed in Florida. Dumb decision. I can't tell you how tired I was. I asked him about it, and he was like, oh, love Gypsy.
Yeah.
And I went,
we used to watch it all the time.
Do? And I said, yeah, Drew mentioned we used to watch it all the time. I don't remember watching it. He said, oh, I'm sure we had it on. I'm sure we had it on all the time. He goes, it's a true story. I was like, yeah, Drew was explaining all of this to me. So Gypsy, big deal. Is it back? Was it off Broadway for a while and now it's back?
Yeah. So one thing that happens on Broadway, Grant, is a show will run and it will close because it's done, because it's not making money anymore, whatever. And then when there's a new giant star who wants to do it, or they have a new take on it, then they'll revive it.
Give me another example.
That's
So
why there's
Gypsy?
best musical. That's why there's a best musical category of the Tonys and a best revival of a musical category.
That's smart. I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah.
Give me examples. What are some other revivals
Okay,
that were like
Sunset Boulevard that Nicole Scherzinger won the Tony for over Audra McDonald. Sunset Boulevard is an old Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. Started with Patti LuPone, ended with Glenn Close on Broadway.
Patti LuPone? What's her deal? Why did Oprah take a swipe at her?
Because Patti LuPone spoke out of her ass and badmouthed, basically talked down about two black theater artists, including Audra McDonald, who has won 6 Tonys. Patty's won 3.
Is Patti like such an all-star level or historical level that she thinks she can say whatever she wants?
Well, she always has. She always has, and she's never really had to think about it, because everything she says, while annoying or sometimes a little I don't know how I feel about that, this was straight up microaggression. This was how can you not know what you're doing? So she did actually, for the first time ever, she apologized. She was like, I've always that girl. I'm known for being the woman who just says it like it is, says what she thinks, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and that stops today. Was
she at the Tonys?
I don't know. I don't think so. I doubt she would after everything that happened. But
it was that big of a deal. People were really upset with her.
So messy in general that this is just another blip in the Patti LuPone of it all. But anyway, that's all to say. Sunset Boulevard, Glenn Close. So Patti LuPone was in Sunset Boulevard in the West End. So Andrew Lloyd Webber was testing it out in the not testing it out, was releasing it in the West End. So when it moved to Broadway, Patti thought for sure she would go with it because she was already a big star. She had killed Sunset Boulevard over there, whatever. Well, then no. The producers and Andrew Lloyd Webber wanted a bigger name, so Glenn Close wanted it. So Glenn Close is who did it on Broadway. And Patti LuPone was pissed. She sued Andrew Lloyd Webber, took him to court. She won a ton of money, and she
won what?
Money.
No. But what? Okay, but what was the civil suit about? What did she claim?
Her contract. She was supposed to take the show from the West End to Broadway. Okay. And then they were like, well, she's not a big enough name. And so Glenn Close wanted. Anyway, she won a lot of money. She ended up building an Andrew Lloyd Webber memorial pool in her backyard. She spent all the money on a pool and named it the Andrew Lloyd Webber Memorial Pool.
That's pretty
but
good.
Anyway,
I love that.
So now they're doing Sunset Boulevard again with Nicole Scherzinger, and she won the Tony.
Okay.
But when you were on your honeymoon, Grant, in New York City in 2004? 6, Glenn Close was on Broadway in Sunset Boulevard. That's why you saw her at that museum.
I saw her at MoMA.
Yeah, she was in Sunset Boulevard.
She was behind me in line. She was renewing her mother's pass, her MoMA pass.
Her mother's?
Mm-hmm. We had a digital camera before smartphones, and I had it under my arm because I didn't want to bother her. And I took a picture of her.
Never mind, that was 1994. That is very different. Keep going.
Oh. Well, it still happened. I took a picture of her. She was behind me. I thought I was being sly. I was like, now let's tell everyone Glenn Close was in my fart zone. That's what Alexis told me to call it. I looked at the picture later, and she was looking directly at the camera.
Yeah.
She was just like, looking directly at it, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, Glenn Close. You'll always be my president. Air Force One.
Anyway, so Nicole Scherzinger, she did the revival. Now, the reason they brought Sunset Boulevard back, number one, Andrew Lloyd Webber is obsessed with Nicole Scherzinger from the Pussycat Dolls. Absolutely obsessed. She did a run in Cats. Yeah, she did a run in Cats in the West End that Andrew Lloyd Webber just like jerked off about and was like, she's the best singer in the world.
Gay people really like Cats because I think Cats is shit. I saw it once and I hated it with all my heart. It's shit.
Yeah, no one likes it. No one
God,
likes it.
It's shit.
Anyway, she's his new like muse. And so him and Jamie Lloyd, the director, they brought it back. But this time it's Sunset Boulevard broken down. So basically the entire show, they're just all in like black underwear. There's no sets. Yeah, it's like one of those.
So he just wanted to see her in her underwear. And he was like, I've got an idea.
Girl, I do not blame him. She's gorgeous. But it's just, and there's thoughts that she could perhaps be a Trump supporter, which is like not great.
Oh.
But
maybe she will do it at the Kennedy Center.
I will say, so Michael Marino is a huge Broadway fucking fag. And so he flies to New York and sees everything.
That's cool.
So he saw...
I do like that. Good call,
He saw
Michael.
Audra and Gypsy. He saw Nicole in Sunset Boulevard. And he said, listen, I get the Nicole Scherzinger like critiques of she's this pop singer doing this really weird version of Sunset Boulevard, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, but it was so different and it was so good that like, yeah, she deserves a Tony. Then he went to see Gypsy, and I was worried about Gypsy because Audra doesn't have the range that this part typically calls for.
You don't have to tell me, brother. I know.
And
the
he was
range.
Like, it was a Tony-winning performance. Like, her performance was so credible. Whereas Nicole sounded amazing the whole time. Audra, like, performed the shit out of it. Well, now I'm putting my opinion into it. That's not exactly what Michael said. But he said, like, it would be really hard to pick. It would be really hard to pick a winner this year, which is why everyone was so into it. Is this boring?
No, just like a lot. What about like were any memeable moments? Something about a dress and a microphone was a thing I heard. Jonathan Groff crawled onto Keanu Reeves' lap. Why was Keanu Reeves at the Tonys?
Why not? Why not?
I don't know. I just assume he's out there John Wicking people.
I haven't watched the whole broadcast. I just watched a bad gay. Well, I'm sorry. I had a show. I had a sold out show I had to do.
I learned so much about the Tony world. Thank you for telling me about it.
I'm honestly surprised you just don't know more. Like, our dad is very gay or bi. Like, so we were around that shit our entire lives.
I do listen to Broadway musicals all the time. Like, I listened to Waitress in its entirety today in the car.
It's a great musical.
I listen to musicals all the time.
What version?
I don't know.
The Broadway version or the Sarah Bareilles version?
Oh, the Broadway version.
Jessie Mueller.
What's the Sarah Bareilles version?
You know that I know
that's
her brother.
The movie one?
I know her brother. I know Jessie Mueller's brother through Curtis, but I know him.
I'm so proud of you. Can I tell you what, because of you and because of your influence, what I listened to with Piper today, and I have been listening, I've listened to multiple times now, is the Puxatawny Phil and Phyllis.
Isn't it so good?
It's so freaking good. I'd pay
Piper
money
like it?
to see it. She loved it. She absolutely loved it. Well, first I played her the song My Days from The Notebook.
The Notebook, Joy Woods.
Which she had listened to before, and she went, I've never heard this before in my life. And I was like, not true, but go ahead. And so we listened to that, and she's like, she's really good. Girl. And then I told her what you told me about their theater awards and how she was discovered there. And Piper was like, do you think I could be discovered? And I was like, baby girl, you can be discovered anywhere. And so always be performing. And so then...
I think the Jimmy Awards were this weekend, right? Or are they this weekend? If you can watch it, Grant, watch it with Piper.
She'll be into it. Well, so I showed her...
Jimmy 2025, not Jimmy Awards, just Jimmy.
It just
Monday, June 23rd. They're next Monday.
The best Jimmys. Okay, next Monday I'll watch it with her.
Oh my God, Grant, you're gonna love it.
My HomePods just rang. So so then she watched it and she loved it, and then she went to her first day at theater camp, and they're doing Grease, and she said, I either want to be Rizzo or I want to be Frenchie, and she came home and she was Frenchie. And her good friend
Nice.
got
Beauty school
Rizzo, and
dropout.
she's so excited. She said, I'm one of the pink ladies. And I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. And so like
That's
all of
cool
her
as
close
shit.
friends are pink ladies. Her other friend is Sandy. So that'll
That's
be this
so
weekend, I think. They
nice.
only do it for a week. It's like an intensive, and then they'll perform it this weekend.
Oh, that's so
So
nice.
she's really excited about it. And
Good
if
for
you will
her.
join Patreon, you can see it too. No, I'm just kidding. Well, Drew,
If
I
you
thank
will
you.
join Patreon at some point, I'm still working on it. Editing this IMHO live for Patreon is
Oh,
just taking forever.
yeah.
But when it's ready, I'll let you know. And if you join Patreon, you can watch Grant tell an insane story about our father that we're not going to share
Oh,
here. But I'm going to keep mentioning it.
yeah. I keep forgetting that happened.
It did.
To close up today, to close out,
Hell
close up
yeah.
and close
Close it.
out. I wanted to play a quick voicemail if we could. We've got
Hell yeah, brother.
I think we got a good one. So
Let's
let
do it.
me pull it up for you.
Hi, Drew and Grant. I'm a rather new listener and overall have really enjoyed your podcast. Listening to your podcast has been the first time that I've revisited even my own relationship with Christianity and just organized religion. And I recently just finished your podcast that talked about summer camps. And I am someone who went to many a summer camp and who woke up really early and went to the 3 sermons a day and had the exhaustion. And one of, I don't know if I can say the name, but one of
Put it out
the
there.
sort of events you described at the end of the trip, I actually had first-hand experience and often participated a lot. They offered this very emotional sermon, and then Compassion International is basically, I don't know if it's still a
It
thing.
is.
I haven't checked on it literally since I was like 12. But they sponsor children in different parts of the world, and usually they sort of advertise it as you sponsor a kid, kind of like for they called us really feel inclined, and if we felt inclined to sponsor a child, we could walk up in the middle of worship to go grab this packet that is signed with, not with a check, but like there is an order form. I remember just crying so much and feeling so touched and feeling like I could. And I didn't even think of the logistics of who was going to pay for it because I'm 12 and I don't have a job, and this
Lazy.
person was now reliant on me to live. I ended up going home and never once touching the packet. And I always felt really guilty of it because it sat in my bedroom.
So they executed
But
that
I
kid.
never could bring it up to me, like, with myself to ask my parents about it. And it really swallowed me up in guilt because I felt like I took this child's chance. I feel really strongly about the fact that I kind of had that embedded in my mind as just, I'm a hypocrite. And I didn't want to return back to church until I wasn't a hypocrite. And I was like 12 or 13. And overall, I just really struggled with the fact of feeling so in charge of so many big emotions at such a young age. And after listening to your podcast about it, I felt very valid in my frustrations because no child deserves to have that. And I wanted to ask how you feel about hypocrisy in the church, especially feeling guilty as a small child, because I, to this day, when I was 16 again, said I wouldn't return to church until I was less of a hypocrite, and I haven't gone since, and it's almost been 10 years. But yeah, love you guys. Bye.
Drew, how do you feel about children feeling guilty in the church? You never felt that way, right? You
I've
felt
never had that
pretty
experience. I mean, I
good.
guess I could try and imagine it. And, I obviously can't feel exactly how a sinner would feel, but
Sure.
bitch, I get it. I feel the exact same way. Well, it is insane. If it were not church, if it were anything else, and we were putting children through this emotional shit. Like she said, she was so young and she had all of these big feelings and big emotions that she didn't understand, and she had nowhere to go to talk about it because the religion had taught her to be ashamed of the fact that she didn't do enough. So she can't discuss her big feelings. Like, yes, girl, same. I've been through it 1,000 times. And I love that you're like, well, I'm not going to go back until I'm not so much of a hypocrite. And you just never went back, because everyone in that church, in order to stay in that church, has to be a hypocrite of some kind. And I love you. You're like, but I don't want to be like that. So no church, I guess. That's great, bitch.
Yeah, it's wild. And I mean, we were there, we lived
Wild
it.
stuff.
It's wild. So it's wild to think
Wild
that a
stuff.
child would have big emotions, big, like sweeping and also changing emotions. And the church would tell you, follow those. The church would like lean into it and be like, oh, well, that's the Holy Spirit. That's why you feel that way. And so
You
Compassion
need to lean into
International,
it, child.
what she said is true. Compassion International, and I did the same thing she did. We were children, and they would be like, do you work summer jobs? You know, do you make your own money, and do you have an allowance? Well, this kid just needs $10 a month from you to get this and to get that and to get this. And then if you feel it, if you know you can do it, you have that money somewhere. And if you're feeling that pull right now, that's God. That's God telling you that he wants you to take care of this child. And we would go down and take these packets, and we'd fill out our information on this packet. Basically, we were signing up for a pledge. And so I guess she didn't, but there were multiple times I would do something like that. I would give them that first month right then and there, and then I wouldn't after that. And they would call and mail things and just
Well,
like
a child was starving, and it was your fault.
a child was starving, and it was incredibly manipulative and terrible and stupid. But speaking of children feeling guilt, I actually met
a guilty child.
A guilty child. I met two ladies at the live show. I know you met them as well. They live just west of the city, in the suburbs in the city, and they are huge IMHO fans, and therefore sometimes we watch
Heather.
Twinnuendo.
And hang on, they come to all of our stuff. They made us little action figures of our podcast.
That's
Oh, I guess you can't see
amazing.
that.
You said Heather and
Oh yeah, Jenny and Heather.
so
Jenny and Heather. They call us their aunts.
Yes,
I love
that's how
them.
they introduced themselves. Was Aunt Jenny and Aunt Heather.
They always come down to Champaign, and I think one of them's in LA right now. They're
That's
just always
awesome.
around.
I got to meet them, and I'm not sure Jenny or Heather, one of the two, Jether, as I like to call them. They were going through like old belongings, and they found this old Bible. It's like a family Bible. Someone had recently passed or something,
Yes,
and there was
she
like a
told me about
family.
this. Yeah,
Like there's like a family Bible, and she's like, I didn't know what to do with it. Like I wanted to just like throw it away, but there was something that I was like, that doesn't feel right.
right. Yeah.
And so we started talking about it, and I told her that I have felt the same thing. And I had a Bible that I couldn't throw away for a long time, that I couldn't get rid of. And I didn't want to keep carrying it around, but I did. I always packed it up, always moved it where we went. Even when I was a Christian, I was like, why do I still have this old thing? But Drew, it was the New Testament that you and I got when we were 6, and we walked an aisle to say that we wanted Jesus in our hearts, and
I just didn't want to burn.
got baptized.
I
just want to get baptized. Honestly, I wanted to go up in that baptismal. I didn't get rid of it for a long time, and when I got fired from the church, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this Jesus stuff anymore. I don't think it's real. I threw away everything. I threw away all these Bibles. I threw away my kids' Bibles. I threw away anything related to Jesus. I was like, meh. Unless it had some sort of Christmas something connected to it, you know,
it was made of gold.
Unless it was Jesus in the manger and Santa bowing and praying with his hat off, then I was throwing it away. Even then, I had this little New Testament, and it was from my childhood, and there was something telling me, like, don't throw this away. You know what I mean? Like, it was like hard to let go of it. And I was reading up on that recently because I was wondering, what is that? And there's this psychiatrist who talks about she calls it religious trauma syndrome, and she said it's when it covers the psychological effects of harmful religious indoctrination. And really, that includes the realization of childhood memories that are tied to guilt and fear and emotional manipulation. And so I was realizing that as I was trying to throw that Bible away, my religious trauma was keeping me from doing it because it had framed it in a way that was a sweet memory. You know, like, well, it was the first Bible I was given. I was baptized. I walked the aisle. There were people there that cared about me, blah, 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 whatever. But then I realized, oh no, that was all emotional manipulation. I was fucking 6. And there was a man back there who led me to the Lord, who was telling me that don't trust yourself ever. There's something broken inside of you and Jesus can fix it. And the way he's going to fix it is through us and through the church. Do what we tell you to do. You're on the team now. Congratulations. You're one of us. And that's what that stupid Bible represented. And I couldn't get rid of it. And it had this moral and sentimental obligation tied to it, where I felt I had this like perceived duty to protect this thing because it was so precious to my childhood. But now that I realize, like, no, I was manipulated. This represents something grotesque. And I finally, whichever lady had the Bible, I'm so sorry, I don't remember which one it was, she just threw it away. And I said, I did too. I finally threw it away too. And it was so freeing. It was like setting that little kid free. Not the ones that I have locked up in my basement, but like me, like the old me. And so it was like setting that part of me free. Like, I'm not going to let this object exist in my house and have any type of control over me. That's ridiculous. And so I got rid of it. I didn't want to celebrate that part of my story anymore. And I literally threw it away because I didn't want anyone else to have it either. And honestly, if I could say to our caller and anyone else who may be in the same boat, who you're holding on to that first communion dress, or you're holding on to that little New Testament, or you're holding on to whatever, that Bible that you got at youth camp and whatever it is, because it just feels it's too heavy, it's too special to get rid of. Why? Investigate that. Why? What's the real memory behind it? Because when I looked into it, what I realized was it was trauma. It was religious trauma. There's emotional manipulation in there. There's guilt in there. There was fear in there. And holding on to that for me was continuing to highlight and honestly give honor to a part of my story that didn't deserve honor anymore. And so getting rid of it was incredibly healing. And so get rid of that shit. If you went to that youth camp and get rid of that shit. Or
if you don't feel that way and you just happen to have all that stuff, that's okay. Just like don't like.
Yeah, that's true. If it's okay, then keep it. That's fine.
I still have all mine. I love
it. I'm glad you do.
I never fully bought into any of it, so they never felt like holy books to me. They just felt like a prop that I had to find on the weekends. I don't know. I adore my Bible Drill Bible because it was something I worked really hard to excel at, and I did. So I have a very positive memory from that.
Yeah. I did too, through lying.
There is one I could get rid of. There's one book I could easily get rid of. Do you remember the devotional gave us when we were 6? And he's like, now's the time. Here you go, young prophet. And he gave us those. Knowing now, like, what a horrible person he is, like, yeah, I could probably get rid of that. I could probably get rid of that. I mean, not like I ever read it. It was just, there are things from my childhood that I just kept because I kept,
maybe it's time to read it.
Maybe,
and
you know
really
what?
Get closer to the Lord.
Maybe that'll change me. Maybe all I've needed was Bruce Brooks' wise words from 1990.
What if you opened it up and it was just
1990.
pictures? It was just pictures of tits. Your path towards heterosexuality was that
little
devotional,
pervert. that little yellow. Well, hey, listen, it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me. He was
a
a
little guy.
pervert.
Read
That's
that.
why he and Dad got along so well.
They love perving out together. Anyway,
love to
if
perv.
if
Go.
you have those objects in your life, let me be Marie Kondo for you right now. If you have those objects in your life that are not bringing you joy, then there's some sort of like weight to them, and there's some sort of tension to them, like it was to me and like it was to our friends in Chicago. Fucking get rid. Why are you holding on to it? Throw it the fuck away. Throw it away.
But whatever decision you make, don't beat yourself up. You're a loving, sweet person. And just because you have a box of all of your childhood Bibles and your twin brother doesn't, it doesn't mean that you're holding on to trauma. It just means that you've already
You're
worked
weird.
through yours.
Or you're weird.
More than
Or you're
your
not.
brother.
And you're gonna break at some point, Drew. Your
And I
brain's
do love
gonna
my
break.
cartoon one. I do love that cartoon one.
Patreon, thank you so much. Thanks for listening. Thank you for
Thanks,
supporting.
Peeps.
You've changed my family's life. We don't spend
You've
your money on
changed
Bibles. I promise you that.
his
But truly, you've
life.
changed our lives. Thank you.
You
And
changed his
we will.
life.
I'll do it this week. I've been putting it off, but we'll schedule the God's Not Dead 2 watch party.
Yes,
I
I
want
want
to.
to. I want to.
I know.
We just
I
got
know, I want
well,
to.
and I also just got charged by Crowdcast for another month. So let's do it.
Well, then we'll get it going. So I'll get that scheduled. And yeah, Drew, it's exciting about the live show stuff. I hope that when we announce the actual cities, Dillsburg, that people
Dillsburg's
will
obviously
be able
on
to
the list. Don't be
able to
insane.
come out. We're gonna stay at the Comfort Inn because that's all that's there in Dillsburg.
And it keeps you very comfortable.
It does.
know,
Fuck you,
Dillsy.
Dillsburg. Fuck you. So
We are gonna go
we're
one day.
totally gonna go one day. Totally, and I
have
bet
to.
it's gonna be our favorite city. I'm sure.
I bet they have the best Chili's. Do they have a Chili's? Is there a Chili's in Dillsburg?
You have to drive. You have to get out of Dillsburg. Dillsburg doesn't have Chili's. Fuck you, Dillsburg. Thank you guys so much for listening. Drew, do you have any closing thoughts or wisdom you'd like to offer?
Fuck. That's it. I just wanted you to
Congratulations
know.
to Cola Scola. We're really proud of you. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye. Happy Pride.
Both of them?